Hi, and welcome to this week's Three Legs, Four Wheels F1 podcast. It's Paul here with...
Sean.
Kieran.
Lee.
We are back after a 2-week break. I know I said we'd do poolside podcast, but...
It's too hot.
Yeah. 38 degrees, 37 degrees, and there was a very good bar, and... we took a laptop and some microphones with us.
We took good intentions.
Yes.
And then did fuck all.
Yeah.
So when are we doing drunk poolside 3-legged 4 wheels though? I mean, that's... I'll go to any... we'll go Bournemouth for all I care. Let's do that.
Is it warm enough to do that in Bournemouth?
In July it is. We can wait. That's fine.
Right, summer break next year. We'll try.
There we go.
We'll do that.
Did your pool bar, was it one of the bars that are like in the pool?
Yes. They had 2 swim up bars. One of them was actually working, but we never went into that pool for various reasons. It was the adult pool, and the last time we stayed at that hotel, there were a few too many adult behaviours going on in that pool.
That sounds fine. Chlorine is like, it kills everything.
Unfortunately, it didn't finish off this fat Russian bloke who'd obviously paid for the woman that he was there with that weekend.
Doesn't kill the vibe, does it?
Apparently not. So yes, we holidayed instead of podcasting. I do apologise, and we let everyone down and tough. But we have had a Grand Prix this weekend. Yes, the second of 3 American Grand Prix this year.
Oh Christ!
The best race of the year for my money.
It was good. It was verging on being very interesting at times. Mercedes acting like Ferrari though.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
sort of the indecision.
And then Ferrari coming out after the race and Fred Vasseur saying, "Oh yeah, we might have got something wrong as well."
Well, yes, we knew that.
Yeah, I think they've turned 2 points finishes into a podium.
Yeah, I mean, then obviously all the controversy with the full result not coming out until about 1:45 this morning, was it?
I've spent
Something like
so
that?
much of my day at work today explaining to non-F1 fans what a plank is. So much.
It's the Mercedes technical expert.
Does it have a podcast called Missed Apex?
No.
Hey! I'll take them all on. Quick stop as well. You're idiot.
Yeah, I've seen the photos of the back of the Ferrari, the Mercedes, and the Red Bull, and you can tell the ride height difference. And they're all taken on the same corner.
Yeah,
and
2 are sparking, aren't they?
Yeah, Ferrari and Mercedes are sparking and creating sawdust. And Red Bull, you can practically get another car under it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I saw people complaining about the plank thing, but Red Bull left a load of performance on the table to make sure they were clear of all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas Mercedes don't have enough wood left to make a table.
Nope.
One of the most interesting tweets I saw about it was from Bernie Collins, formerly of Aston Martin, who now does bits and pieces with Sky. She was saying that in the full scrutineering report, it was only actually 4 cars that were selected for a plank check, the other 2 being Verstappen and Norris. So the fact that there was like a 50% failure rate suggests that those 2 cars might not be the only 2 cars that didn't have enough plank left.
Yeah, I think that 4 is the normal number, though,
I think it is, yeah, but to have 2 fail is...
Yeah, you're right.
I'd start lifting up the other cars, I agree. Can you imagine the 7 disqualifications?
Podium for Logan Sargent.
We're going to get to Mexico next week, and everyone's going to be driving around in monster trucks.
Yeah.
That would probably be quite cool.
Oh, if they put the jumps in like they do in the stadium trucks in Australia.
Well, I saw there's a load of teams turned up now today saying, Austin's not fit for modern F1 cars because it's too bumpy. I'm not being funny. Hasn't it been for ages? Like drivers would turn around and say, "Yeah, we need to get away from these billiard pool, smooth tracks and go back to like more classic bumpy circuits." And now they're not happy with that.
Yeah.
Well, I think the problem with Austin and Lee, you might get this being building trade adjacent, except for that fortnight that we talked about in the Patreon show.
Yeah,
Is the way that they built the Austin circuit is there's an issue with, I think it's the substrate under the actual asphalt surface is moving.
I think the issue is they've moved too much land, isn't it, to hollow it out?
Yeah, and the bumps change every year.
Mm-hmm.
well, that's good. That's sound. I mean, the fact that they can't the fact they turn up to a different circuit every year sounds great.
Keeps
to me.
them
We should do
guessing.
it to all circuits.
I mean, they cope with it round the TT because they never know where the roadworks are going to be on any given lap. But yeah, the bumps change every year. But every worldwide series that races at Austin always complains about it. MotoGP says that it's a circuit that's been designed for cars.
Yep.
Cars
say it's a
because
circuit that's
people
been
watch
designed
the
for
cars.
MotoGP.
Yeah, NASCAR don't like it because, well, there's two different ways of turning.
Yeah. IndyCar did their own thing entirely.
IndyCar don't give a shit and actually don't use the track and mostly use runoffs. So
Yeah.
Is that why they don't have track limits for that circuit? Because that's fucking wild. When
Yeah,
you see that.
they were they were up against like the fence, even though
Yeah.
it was about 10 meters from the actual track. It was
yeah, half the cars were in the bloody airport next door.
They didn't seem to have track limits during those F1 Academy races either. I think it sort of had them on mute in the background a couple of times, but I was just sitting there going, they've overtaken Abby pulling off the road. That's entirely, she's just done the same. So you're allowed to do that then.
Yeah, it was that turn 19. I remember the IndyCar race there a few years ago, and they were taking very similar lines to that. And then F1 go and repaint the lines to make them more noticeable. And I mean, the whole track limits thing is a complete and utter bloody mess.
I think it's sausage curbs and sand traps. That's the only way to fix it.
What about the stereophonics? Yeah, they need to do something.
Just enough asphalt to outperform.
Oh, nice! Sergeant spins around.
Yay! New podcast.
Yeah, they either need to get rid of it or build a wall, make it all like Monaco.
Yeah, it's the track limits thing's starting to get old, isn't it? The track limits are the new tyre conversation.
Yeah. Also, it probably doesn't help with the selective radio editing because all you get to hear is drivers whinging about the guy in front going wide. Yeah,
I'm at the point now. I don't think we should hear it. I'm at the point. I don't think because it's edited in such a way that certain drivers are made to look like they complain a lot. Certain drivers are made to look like they're trying to snitch on other drivers just all the time, which probably they're all trying to do. I'm not sure that apart from the odd snippet, if there's something that's really integral to the race, like somebody radioing in about tires or a team and driver arguing about a pit, an upcoming pit stop. I don't think it adds to the show.
I mean, you say team and driver arguing, you just stick the Ferrari cockpit feed on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite entertaining, though, isn't it?
Yeah, the selective editing feels like they're trying to appease the Drive to Survive audience.
Yeah. I think a lot of that comes about anyway when you go into any of these sorts of things because they're very quick. Like back in Abu Dhabi 2020, I almost went a whole podcast. Back at Abu Dhabi, they clearly handpicked the most exaggerated of all the conversations.
Yes,
they didn't have the normal conversations going, was that fair? Yeah, that was. Okay, cheers. They went for the no Mikey no shit. And yeah, it's just I've said it before, I say it again. get rid of we got rid of the FIA to the team stuff. Get rid of broadcasting the team to the driver stuff. Just let the teammates speak to each other, and we just hear that. That's the only communication the drivers get. You cut me up, you did me in, well, you can sod off. But I'd pay F1 money for them to do that. I'd love to hear that.
I'd make a feature of it and just get rid of radios and go back to pit boards.
The problem is that every other racing series now seems to go big on the in-car. I mean, you look at NASCAR, and they've actually got the commentary team talking to the drivers during breaks in the race.
I mean, I would hate that.
Yeah,
how weird? Sorry, how weird was fucking Anthony Joshua having a quick chat with Pierre Gasly before the race?
Yeah, I
don't
wasn't
like
a fan
that
of
as well.
that.
That stuff can go.
I don't understand that.
Well, he owns a bit of the team now, so he can do what he wants.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to challenge Anthony Joshua
No,
on
I
it.
probably wouldn't.
I might leave that one.
No, you could do. He wouldn't accept the fight.
I did like Martin Brundle in the chat with him and calling his potential opponent Tyson Fury.
I really enjoyed Anthony Joshua calling the team he's bought into Alpine.
Yeah, after saying Alpine, having to go, I've been told it's Alpine, as if it wasn't ridiculous.
So who else has bought it? Because it wasn't not so long ago. Your man from
Team Wrexham.
Yeah. Rob and Ryan.
Yeah, so it's like a whole group of them, isn't it? So it's like you've got Anthony Joshua.
So is Anthony Joshua part of that? Like,
no, this is I think a new group. So it's like Anthony Joshua.
Well, this is within that 25% that.
So they've bought into.
Got you. What Ryan and Rob and Redbird Capital, which is Mrs. X The Rock.
So what have we got? We've got Anthony Joshua, Rory McIlroy, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, who Martin Brundle might now need to learn to identify properly.
Oh, One Matter, isn't it?
One Matter, yeah.
McIlroy, Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, yes.
Who is One Matter?
He's a footballer.
He's a what?
He's
sorry?
a Queen B-side.
A footballer that once won you quite a sizable amount of money.
He did, to be fair. Yeah, I am fond of One Matter for precisely that reason.
He sounds like a rapper.
One Matter. Lil One Matter.
Yeah. Somebody sent me a tweet saying
Baby always no one matters.
Yeah, somebody sent us a tweet just before the weekend saying with all the celebs buying into Alpine, how long before Renault actually pull out completely? But I think that was going to happen before all the celebs bought in. It's Renault, they're in F1, they're going to pull out.
I mean, technically, Renault they've quietly pulled out anyway by just having it as Alpine because no one knows who the fuck Alpine is.
I think you'll find out it's pronounced Alpine.
It's that muesli stuff, isn't it? You know, that rabbit food you have for breakfast.
Yeah, imagine that. Alpen F1. All these big reputable brands, and then Jordan's Country Crisp turns up.
I used to like it in F2 when oh god, who was I can't remember who it was.
I am.
But one of the drivers was sponsored by Fox's Biscuits.
I remember
Jordan
that.
King.
Yes, it was Jordan King.
Because Daddy King owned two sisters who used to do Fox's Biscuits and Goodfellas Pizza, I think it was, or something like that.
You completely lost me there when you said he owned two sisters. I was thinking,
Was he Sainsbury's as well? Was that him?
Oh yeah, I think he was.
Justin King, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, you want your motor racing brands to be something mechanical you've never heard of, or something really exotic that you can't afford.
Yeah.
not bloody Viennese fingers.
You say this, but by looking at that car, I'm more likely to buy a biscuit than I am to buy some random. Like, I'm more likely to think, oh yeah, I could go some biscuits.
Yeah, I've never seen you sort of nip out mid-race to go get a Richard Mille watch.
No.
I really need some Kaspersky security.
Yeah, but you will impulse purchase a packet of biscuits.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was 5, I didn't really understand why, but I didn't know what they were, but I'd go for a packet of mild 7. That's good for me.
I once read something in F1 magazine. It was about sort of late 90s, early 2000s. It said, you know you're a true F1 fan when you're on holiday and you only buy Parmalat milk because you've heard of them because of F1. And I've got
Is that what it is? Is it milk?
Yeah.
Oh God, I never knew that. I thought it was cigarettes or something.
No, it was. I think they've gone bust now, but it was milk.
Oh, that's a shame. I wish I'd gone on holiday sooner now.
It's quite disappointing. It's their equivalent. You could dunk a Fox's biscuit in it. Right. Should we do the driver reviews?
Yeah.
Now, with the disqualifications, it's going to make things a bit trickier, but the worst performing team all round would appear to be Alfa Romeo, who...
Which I think was the case before the disqualification.
Yeah, who participated.
So tell us anything about Alfa Romeo's race.
They had 2 cars start and they had 2 cars finish.
Didn't Joe have a coming together with somebody on the first lap, like in at the start? I think that wasn't it like an Alpine?
No, that was Ocon and Piastri.
All right, they did absolutely nothing.
Yes. No, I mean, I remember at one point Joe pitted.
Yes, I assume Bottas did as well.
Yes.
Oh yeah, didn't Joe pit like 3 or 4 laps before?
4 laps in.
Yeah.
He did right at the start. I went, well, that's not a strategy. You're not meant to use all 12 of your tyres in one race.
Don't know if it was Ferrari, they'd probably bring them out. Sorry, I said I'd slow down on the Ferrari bashing. I lied. But yeah, I can't actually remember anything notable. Again, they have just been the most porridge team of the season.
Mm. Yeah, it's a letdown, isn't it?
You know, they were promising so much, and yeah, they were there, and they started and finished the race, I guess, 12th and 13th.
At what point did Audi get buyer's remorse?
They'll turn that team around. I'm convinced of it.
Yeah, they've got to, because you know I mean, they're not last. They're not in the slowest car, which appears to be the Haas at the moment. But
yet somehow we're talking about them first.
Yeah. But yeah, they're just utterly not there.
Well, it's just an uninspiring driver lineup, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, that doesn't help at all, does it?
I think that's Alpine's problem as well. I think they've got just this uninspiring driver lineup too. It's if you've got a lower mid-grid team like Alfa Romeo that employ a driver which has been in a top team that's won Constructors World Championships, and he's been the number 2 helping a number 1 win World Championships. I can't think of another situation where that's been less interesting than Bottas.
Yeah, and you know, they've announced the same lineup for next year, and I think Bottas has got another 2 years on his contract, so he's going to be staying well into the Audi changeover.
No, that'll lead him up to the Audi changeover, because it's going to be Sauber next year.
Yes, 2 years of Sauber, don't you have?
Yeah. There's no chance Valtteri Bottas drives an Audi.
I don't know.
No, I agree.
F1 car.
Yeah.
No, I can.
Although he's a Lexus guy, though, isn't he? I reckon he's not interested enough for an Audi.
No.
What was he? What did anyone else see Bottas do an advert for something this weekend? Was it wine? He did a wine advert.
It's clearly an advert that struck a chord.
Yeah. Someone who works in marketing.
For the past 2 years, he's done a really good advert for shaking up your driver lineup.
Oh, hello. Yes, there is a picture of him with some wine.
I know. He's just launched another gin.
Jane showed me an advert of him, and it was something like they've got the is it Tiffany, his Olympic girlfriend?
Yes.
She goes, we're going out. I'm going to the shop. Do you need anything? And he went, no, I'm fine, thanks. Actually, I'll have some wine. Oh, okay. Buy wine or something. That was.
It's called. What's it called? It's called Ihana or Ihana. Ihana. I don't fucking know how we're saying that.
What I'm saying is,
Finn, don't we? We need a new Finn.
Yeah.
Well, there's a new F2 driver called Kimi.
Yeah, he's Italian.
Yeah. Kind of ruins it.
We've now got to the point where drivers are coming into F1 named by drivers who only started in the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
I will accept no Finn until it's the next Raikkonen.
Oh, you mean Mini Raikkonen?
Yeah.
But I thought Kimi was sort of pointing him more towards two wheels than four.
Oh, did he just kart racing?
He just the karts. Yeah, I think he does a bit of anything.
He's just always on his side.
There could be a chance. Can we move on from Alfa Romeo? Because I'm just getting bored.
I thought we already had
them.
Since we're talking about sort of Kimmy's.
Yeah, that's. Well, he drove for him disinterestedly.
The most memorable thing Bottas did for me all weekend is not sell me wine.
If anyone finds some of this Bottas wine on sale and tries it, if they want to send us a review, we'll read it out on the show.
Yes.
If they would like to send us a bottle, we will drink it while we speak.
Yeah, we might even give that a go. Talking of reviews, somebody sent me a photo of the cover of some Danny Ricciardo erotic fan fiction.
Oh, yes.
Now, if anybody wants to read that and send in a review, because
how did he break his hand in that?
I reckon you're going to get more takers for that than you are the Bottas Shiraz.
Well, I've tried on Discord. I do know that one person on the Discord chat is reading it, but refuses to review it. Don't you, Pixie Sticks? Naming and shaming here. But if anybody else wants to give it a go, Gemma maybe. She's a big Danny Rick fan.
Horny Badger?
That would be a great title. I don't know. I've got the picture. I just want to thank Jana for sending me the artwork, and want to thank her even more for not sending me a link to it.
I think I'd need the Bottas wine to get through that. So one hand washes the other, you know.
It's called Overtake My Heart.
Oh, come on. An AI wrote.
You sure it's not Chuck Villeneuve's next album?
It could be.
Now, I've seen more.
Oh, the next one could be Love in the Battle thing.
Oh, sorry about that. That was probably quite loud.
Firstly, bless you. Secondly, yeah.
So yeah, if anybody wants to,
like books written by Brian Griffin.
So if anybody wants to read it, and if you get through it in one piece, send us a review and we'll read it out on the show. Or if you want to read your own review, send us a recording of it. We'll play it. Heavily censored. Right, let's talk about Haas. Another nightmare weekend. The upgrades downgraded the car.
Yeah.
And then they found out, courtesy of the sprint race, that they'd got the wrong rear wing angle, which is why they both started from the pit lane, because you're not allowed to change you're not allowed to change the rear wing, anything on the rear wing in Parc Fermé. You can do the front wing only.
Can I just very quickly come back to this Ricardo thing? It's on Amazon. It's available to purchase on Amazon.
Oh, there goes your browsing history, and I don't want to know what your suggestions are going to be like after looking at that.
Overtake my...
This is what I did. I just Googled it, and there it is on Amazon.
Thick Rick Races for Love. Book number 1 of 69 in the Daniel Ricciardo romance series. Right, how do I clear my cookies?
Fire, I think, in this case.
Well, if you read it, you'll probably lose your lunch. Completely sidetracked. Haas. So yes, they both had to start from the pit lane because they needed to tweak the rear wing angle, and it didn't do any good. They're still shredding the tyres. So apparently, this new upgrade was meant to deal with the tyre wear problems that they've been having all season, and it didn't work.
Haas has done like something quite remarkable this year, because they've taken 2 drivers which technically shouldn't be in Formula One anymore and wasted them.
I can't think of a better description than that. I mean, the car was a dog during the sprint. You've got to wonder those sprint weekends. You only get 1 hour to actually practice, and then you're in a Parc Fermé in full racing conditions.
This is why we ended up with like a fifth of the grid in the pit lane, isn't it? Because they're stuck with a car that doesn't work.
Yeah, normally you'd be able to change it for FP2, but hang on, FP2 is now
I'm here
qualified.
For it, though. I do think even on non-sprint weekends we should sack the practices off.
I don't know. It doesn't work for me at the moment, the sprint format. I like the idea of the sprint. I don't like the Friday night qualifying. It irks me, but I'm not really sure why.
I agree with you, but what I just mean is even on non-sprint weekends, it's a much more interesting Grand Prix weekend when we don't have the testing.
One practice session on Friday, and that's it.
Try like they did when they were trying the 2-day format out. 1 90-minute session rather than
potential,
rather than 360s.
Yeah.
But what I reckon they should do for the sprint is, at the moment, Friday, keep as normal, 2 practice sessions. Don't have an FP3 on Saturday. Have 1 qualifying session and reverse the top 10 for the sprint grid.
Yeah, well, I'm almost on the same as you. I just think the only thing I tweak is like, because we cracked the 2 race format has already been cracked. GP2 cracked it years ago.
Yeah.
I would have qualifying on Friday, for the race on Sunday, and there was a half distance race would be the sprint race, which would net you half points, but it's a reverse grid pole from Friday's qualifying.
I definitely like the reverse grid element. I'm definitely not ready to give a shit about Sunday's race on Friday. Like that's where I fall down. I think I don't care about qualifying on a Friday.
Yeah, because I think with GP2 it was a lot better having the qualifying on a Friday, because then you've still got a race on Saturday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
you'd still have the race on Saturday. You'd have the reverse grid race Saturday.
Yeah, but no, qualifying Saturday morning.
Yeah, I
like
find
the fact that some people can't see it and it makes them sad.
But yeah, I find the sprint format weekend to say that it's got a sprint in it. I'm literally seconds away from finishing my point, so no. But yeah, I find the sprint format draggy. I don't find it exciting. I find it less interesting than the normal weekend.
You've taken the main excitement out of a number of races, which is generally the start, and you've given everyone a preview 24 hours before of that start. Now, that's fine.
That didn't work. That didn't happen this week, though, did it?
Well, no. So this is the difference between the two. You need to have a mixed-up grid on at least one of those, because Max was on pole on the first one and, tried to put Leclerc into Houston before turn 1. And then on the second one, you have Max down in sixth and Leclerc and Norris and Hamilton and all that. Therefore, the best thing they can do for the sprint start is to stick the top 10 in reverse or something.
Yes, Top 8. Do like GP2 used to do. It used to be reverse square pole from 8th position.
Yeah. Somehow always Markeloff ended up 8th.
What I was going to say was Lee tightly your sex tape, but it's a bit late for that now.
I'm willing to take one race, just test it for once and see what it's like. Championship reverse, full 20. Put Sargent and Ricciardo on the front row and see what happens. Just for one race. Yeah.
That relies on Sargent actually keeping his car running between between the start of practice and the race.
It would be just his luck, wouldn't it? I'm on pole, I'm on par.
Are you sure it wouldn't end with Ricciardo looking over to his right, biting his lip, wondering if... Can't carry on.
Oh, God, Have you downloaded the book already? Are we interrupting your Kindle me time? Oh, Christ, I don't know what to do next. We'll do Williams.
Yeah, nothing happened with Haas, right?
He was polling Lance's heart.
He was polling something of Lance's.
Yeah, Williams looked into the points.
Get double points finish.
Yeah, I mean, Sargent gets his debut points in one of his home races. His second time lucky for him.
He gets his pub quiz answer.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he is. Yeah.
Which former F1 driver and now Ginetta Supercars test driver.
And now Aldi bag passer.
Actually, funnily enough, we're watching British GT on Sunday afternoon before the race. And in all the time that we were watching it, there was one retirement, and it was a Ginetta. And it was driven by the Stig.
Was it Ben Collins?
Yeah.
Or was it the other one?
No, it was the original. The second Stig.
Percy. Perry? Percy?
Perry McCarthy.
Perry, thank you.
Yeah, no, sorry, it was the second Stig. But yeah, it was, Ben Collins retired.
Oh, it was Ben Collins, sorry.
Yeah. And ironically, his kind of non-Stig-like for copyright reasons replacement, Abby Eaton, was in the same race, and she didn't even get to drive because her teammate binned it.
Mm.
So not a good day for Clarkson slave drivers. Is that a thing? Anyway, yeah, Williams. So looks into the points. Albon, another penalty for track limits.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to be picking those up at an alarming rate.
Yeah.
I think he's previously kicked off at the team, hasn't he, for not telling him when he's on the verge of getting a penalty?
Yeah, I think it might be one of those, well, stop doing it.
Well, there is that. Yeah. But yeah, I think they haven't, I think certainly at previous races they haven't told him once he gets the flag, like the final warning, and then they tell him, oh, you've got a penalty, and it's like, well, why didn't you warn me?
So I think a lot of the other drivers may get the information on the dashboard because the dashboard is separate to the wheel. Williams are the only team with a dash built into the wheel, so maybe it's a smaller screen, so they just haven't got room to fit the "you've got a black and white flag" message on there.
Interesting.
I was thinking how weird it was on Sunday looking at the Williams, how they still go with that like old-fashioned style wheel.
I mean, you say old-fashioned, it's not as old-fashioned as the older wheels. It's not rammed. It's not rammed, is what I'm saying.
But yeah, compared to what some of the other teams have got.
But it shares more in common with a 1996 McLaren wheel than it does anyone else's. That's the thing.
Yeah, but apparently it works for him. Well, it doesn't.
No, let's not like Williams have done a good job this year.
Yeah, good job this weekend as well because they were fairly equal.
And Albon can stick that car places it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
in qualifying.
And unfortunately, with all the penalties, he's sticking the car in places that he's not allowed to be.
Yeah, that's fair. I still think he's got a big team move in him, Albon.
Well, what was it that Helmut said this weekend? Didn't he say something along the lines of, it's too soon for Albon to come back to the team, but everything that happened that year he was with us wasn't his fault, and he's clearly extremely talented. So you've changed your tune.
He has changed his tune. Yeah. I still think the best guy through that whole Albon debacle was George Russell, if you remember the interview he had on Sky, where he just blurted out as well, the Red Bull need to sort something out because they're making Albon look like an idiot, and he's anything but that.
Yeah, absolutely. I did like the bit with Sargent when they just quickly cut to him overtaking Kevin Magnussen, and Crofty just out of nowhere went, "Here comes Logan Sargent," as if it wasn't for 16th place. It was like the cheap copy of the "Here Comes Sebastian Vettel."
I fucking hate the Sky coverage, and I remembered how much I hated it when I turned the TV on. I caught part of the F1 Academy, and the F1 Academy used Sky, even on F1 TV, used Sky's people. I watched it for maybe 30 seconds, threw up my mouth twice, and I was like, I can't.
I like it, but I can see various bits where there are problems.
Mate, I swear, anybody listening to this, do yourselves a favour, just go and buy whatever fucking VPN happens to be like your favourite flavour of VPN, and pay for just £5 for a month of F1 TV, and it will transform how you watch Formula One again. Like, it is so much better.
Yep, you won't be able to watch it live. You'll have about a 90-second delay. That's pretty big transformation.
Doesn't matter. I would take an hour's delay not to listen to Crofty.
Apparently, come out with some classics this week. There were a couple of things which he said where he went, "Oh."
There was one bit where he was talking about Ocon having a moment about 10 laps after he retired.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
It's like, no, that's clearly Gasly.
That's lovely overtake by Esteban Ocon on such and such. He was out 10 laps ago, you moron.
The problem with the commentary on Sky now is that Crofty shouldn't be there. Martin Brundle should be Crofty if Martin Brundle is going to be the next Murray Walker, and they need a driver in that commentary box now.
But that's sort of the year they had him and Coulthard do it back at BBC. It didn't really work very well. Brundle needed it.
Was that a Coulthard issue, though?
I'm not a fan
point.
It worked better than the previous year because, remember Jonathan Ledgard?
Is this good enough? No. Every qualifying. God, yeah. Ledgard now resigned to doing Bristol Rovers versus Forest Green on BBC Printer.
Look, I'm just saying, Julian Palmer, absolute commentary goat now for me. Julian Palmer is the best commentator in Formula One.
I like Alex. I like Alex Brundle a lot.
Yeah, Alex Brundle's good as well.
How can you tell the difference?
Yeah,
there are lots of similarities in the voice.
Yeah. Mainly the last 7 letters of his name.
And who was the IndyCar driver that was on F1 TV? I keep forgetting.
Oh, Hinch.
James Hinchcliffe.
Yeah,
he's good.
He's great.
The mayor of Hinchtown.
Yeah. He's such a good commentator. Unfortunately, Coulthard seems to have bought into F1 TV in some way because he does a lot of the commentary now. But you've always got like is it Alex Jakes? He's good. You'll have Julian Palmer on with them, or you'll have like Hinchcliffe did it this weekend. So there's always somebody good as well.
I would be very happy if, as a Sky subscriber, I'd be very happy if in the natural successors of Crofty, Brundle, Ted and all that were the two Alexes, Jakes and Brundle, and then in the pit lane, Jolyon. I'd take that. I'd be happy with that.
With special comments from Davide Valsecchi.
Oh God!
Has he just disappeared now?
I think he's doing Sky Italy.
Ah.
I hate him.
We have noticed. You have made mention of this once or twice.
A clip of you slagging him off was used as a joke clip of slagging me off on my radio station for a couple of years. I don't know if you even know this.
That's amazing.
Oh, do you remember this?
I don't know about this.
I got Paul. There's one clip where you go, he's useless. He can't talk. He just can't talk. And I used to use that clip to open my new music show every so often. The new music show with Kieran Thompson. Oh, he is rubbish. He's just not good at speaking.
Oh, see, that's gone on the Wikipedia.
The Wikiledia. Sorry.
That's my romantic fanfic.
Will you donate $2 to?
Oh God! Right, what we got next? AlphaTauri. Fastest lap for Yuki.
Yes, that was exciting.
Yeah.
But with a massive asterisk.
Yeah, well, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, saved a set of soft tyres for it, just to be on the safe side. Coming after a fastest lap for Danny Rick, who it kind of didn't work. It was just complete and utter shit show by AlphaTauri, because Max didn't have the fastest lap. So if he wasn't going to get it, whoever had it at the time, because I think it sort of traded between George Russell and Carlos Sainz. So it was let's sacrifice an AlphaTauri and
to be fair, it wasn't
away.
sacrificing. They sacrificed Ricciardo when they put him on a one stop. By that point, the sacrifice was done.
Yeah, that really didn't work.
It did not.
Ricardo, should he have stayed out till the end of the season?
No.
I think if he had done, he wouldn't have a seat, would he?
Yeah, they had to bring him back.
I still think there's a chance he gets Perez's seat, you know.
I mean, he's guaranteed a seat next season. I don't know which team it's going to be in, but at the moment, Red Bull have 4 drivers, and 3 of them are guaranteed to be there next year.
I wonder when it comes to, because we remember Helmut Marko's comments, don't we, about if Perez doesn't get second and Hamilton usurps him. Do we think that inside the Red Bull boardroom, they will take into account the fact that Hamilton was disqualified from this race? Will there be that because Perez should end the season now in second place, but is it going to be a case of Hamilton should have had a second place and he was taken away?
I don't know. I don't know if you can, because they've never had second in the Drivers' Championship before when they've won it. So yeah. I think if he gets second, I think it would be quite stingy of them to put an asterisk next to it.
Yeah, I don't think in a couple of years' time we probably won't be talking about. Remember the time Perez lost second to Hamilton?
But when they're talking about the case of if he loses second in the championship, he might lose his seat.
Yeah, I think there's an argument for it. Personal opinion is I think maybe we should be having that conversation, but I just wonder who's going to do better. I don't know who's widely available anyway. If you stick Lando or George in there,
I'm not saying Ricciardo will do better.
It doesn't matter anyway, does it? I mean, Verstappen's points total is more than Mercedes and everyone else's points total. So.
If he wins next weekend, he will have won the Constructors' Championship by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. That must be a good feeling.
Yeah.
Unless you're Perez.
Yeah.
Or anyone on Twitter.
I mean, there's 39 points between Hamilton and Perez. 4 races and 1 sprint to go.
There's every chance he might fucking lose it, actually, thinking that.
Yeah.
If he doesn't pick his form up.
And Hamilton now seems quite happy with the car.
He's got... it'd be interesting to see how Perez performs this weekend with the added pressure of being at Mexico as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because this is usually one of his better tracks.
Yeah.
But Hamilton goes well at sort of a lot of the ones still to come, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Brazil he does.
He's always been good towards the ass end of a season, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Hamilton, I think he's won the championship twice in Mexico, hasn't he?
I think, twice in Mexico.
It's
Usually very good
ninth.
at Brazil. Usually quite good at Abu Dhabi.
Most of the time.
Obviously, Vegas is a complete wild card.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say that's going to be a Perez bad outing because Perez doesn't seem to do well at new tracks.
No.
I don't think he's one of those drivers. Like some drivers, like it is without doubt, fucking Alonso will be like second or third, after FP1 in Las Vegas. Not because he's got the pace to do it or the car's got the pace. Just he's one of those drivers that seems to be able to turn up to new circuits and find it quickly, and then obviously get shuffled down as the natural order occurs. I don't think Perez is that guy.
He was all right at Miami, wasn't he? But that's about it.
But that was that was when he was in the vein of form as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it was Miami this year that killed him.
Yeah, completely. He has a good May. May's a good month for Perez. June onwards, forget it.
So he kind of tends to Cinco after Mayo.
Wow. That's, I mean,
Who are we on at the moment?
Perez.
Borderline racist if we're honest.
No, I mean, team-wise. Who were we talking about?
Team-wise, we've jumped from Williams to Red Bull for some unknown
I thought
reason.
we were talking about
Alpha Tauri, yes.
Paul just put himself in the same box as Helmut Marko.
That was a Mexican-based joke, and he is Mexican.
It's just lazy.
Said Jim Davidson. Tsunoda actually had a good race.
Yeah, he was solid.
I thought he was fine. Okay, he's benefited from three things: Alonso breaking down and the two disqualifications. But I'd say that wasn't an awful race for Yuki. 4 points and fastest lap for 5.
Yeah,
isn't that as many points as he scored all bloody year?
Yeah.
AlphaTauri have to be one of the disappointments of the year, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, a bad car to begin with, a driver that couldn't handle the bad car to begin with. I still don't think everything that happened to Debris was down to him. He's not crap. I just don't think he was very good with that car.
I think that was what he is, and he was hired off one race.
I don't know, because I mean, he was good in F2. He won Formula E, which, say what you want, you've got to have some driving ability to do well in that.
Yeah.
Are we going to see future Formula E world champion Dick Tantrum? Probably not.
If all justice was just within the world, we would.
I don't think he's in it next year. Am I right in thinking?
Or was he pissed off another team?
Is he? I thought he was out of Formula E. I just typed in FE 2024 and I've got a Hyundai. Right. Formula E 2024. I'm pretty sure he's gone.
I think he has gone.
No, he's not. That's a lie. He's in a team called ERT.
See, I have no. He's the only reason I have to watch Formula E. And I
quite like the Formula E.
I mean,
you just get a couple of good crashes, don't you?
Yeah, you do. New York a couple of years ago was good.
Unless they're driving around the XL Centre, then you just get one big crash with every car involved.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was wild.
It's amazing. You can have a 20-car pile-up and no one retires. How does that work?
Yeah, that right there was we need to fix the AI.
Yeah,
that's right. That's this game's awful. Oh, did you not download the day one patch? No.
Apparently, Nick DeFries has signed for Mahindra to replace Roberto Merri, which is the most bland sentence I've ever read in my life.
God,
Instead of toast tonight, for dinner we're having dry noodles.
It's like someone saying, "Beige, paint me a picture with your words."
Nico Rosberg.
Listen, that man knew. I'm going to start writing Nico Rosberg erotic fan fiction. Not because
50 Shades of Beige.
Not because I find him attractive, just because it'll be so easy. Even as a heterosexual man, it will be so easy to do. Tell you what, this bottle of wine's working.
But yeah, good weekend for AlphaTauri overall.
Yeah. 2 quickest drivers on the track, technically, for 1 lap.
Yeah, just not all of them.
Not for the other 55.
Yeah.
Every cloud.
Yeah. I don't think they've brought Danny Rick back too soon. I think he'll take a tiny bit more time. He'll bed in and he'll be okay. He won't be spectacular. He'll be fine, I reckon.
Yeah, I think even if
he will look stronger than Tsunoda before the end of the year.
Yeah, even if he does move back up to Red Bull next year, I don't think we'll see the old Danny Rick.
Maybe not. No.
I think we would see the old Danny Rick. I just think because let's not forget the old Danny Rick left Red Bull because he could see that unformed Danny Rick is not beating Max Verstappen probably in any of the forms.
No.
But I do think an unformed Danny Rick destroys Sergio Perez.
Yeah, yes. I've just forgotten what on-form Danny Rick is, though. That's a problem.
It's been a while.
Been on form since the end of 2020 when he started putting in some good performances for the artist formerly known as Renault. He was all right for a couple of races. Did he get a podium? Yeah, because
he got a podium because Cyril got a tattoo.
Yeah.
Sorry. Bye, France.
Why do we always get someone from the Isle of Wight who insults countries?
I just don't think we can judge Danny Rick, multiple Grand Prix winner, someone that we looked at, especially when he dispatched Seb as world champion in waiting. I don't think we can judge him because of 2 bad years at McLaren.
No, I agree. It's just it puts it sets you slightly off course, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's that move to McLaren has wrecked his Formula One career.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
It's what they said about Alonso in 2007. Hang on a minute. Move to Renault doesn't work out, leaves in a strop. Goes to McLaren, car's an absolute dog, can't drive it.
Enjoy breaking down at the Indy 500 in 2027.
Yeah, there's total shunt potential in these facts. Keep everyone guessing until the spaffer. He is. I reckon he's followed Alonso's career and gone, yeah, he's made some great career moves. I'll do the same.
Yeah, that's very possible. I'd see another 10 years of Danny Rick in the sport. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, just give him a shot at the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
Actually, talking of Alonso, it's going to be Aston Martin next. Stroll in quite a strong 7th place, bearing in mind the start he had to the weekend.
The single digits.
Yeah.
The car, he had a decent race, though. Stroll had a decent race.
Yeah. The car being an absolute dog to drive right up until the actual race. Because then, what was it? The switch round they did. Alonso went back to the old spec, and Stroll got the upgrades for the race because they were both crap until then.
Yeah, so because they both had a poor qualifying, they basically used the race as a test. So yeah, Alonso had the old floor, Stroll had the new floor that they bought for this race that they weren't quite sure whether it was a goer or not, and well. Stroll got the better result.
Didn't put it in the wall.
Yeah.
Well, neither did Alonso, to be fair. He just broke down.
No, that's true. What was it? Hydraulic leak in the end.
I thought it was floor damage.
Oh yeah, floor damage. They came across and said, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame for Alonso.
Yeah, I'm fairly disappointed though with Aston Martin because at the beginning of the year, it looked like, oh fuck, the investment's worked. Like this is we've got a new team in amongst the upper midfield, and they've became like Force India again.
Well, no, kind of the reverse of Force India, because Force India used to get it all together at the end of the season.
Yeah. That's fair. But I'm really interested for next year to know whether is Aston Martin's like fall back into the pack a natural occurring thing because other teams didn't do well enough. Remember, like I always used to say about Williams, when Williams were up there at the beginning of like the last, like the hybrid engines, and they were there because everyone else had done a terrible job of the engines, and they were there with Mercedes. I wonder whether Aston Martin have just fell back because better teams have outdeveloped them, or have they? Was it an embarrassment of riches where they didn't think they were going to be as strong as they were at the beginning of this year, and all of their eggs are in next year and like the future when their whole new infrastructures are online? Was it a Brucey bonus the first half of the year?
They're meant to have more wind tunnel time than most of the other top teams, aren't they? Because it's a sliding scale backwards.
Yeah, but they lost out on some for slightly breaking the cost cap.
Yeah. I don't think it wasn't like a huge thing, was it? Their cost cap thing.
I think it was. I've got 2 million in my head, somewhere around about there.
Yeah, that sort of sounds about right.
Yeah.
So
that's like one buffet in
Formula
in
the grand scheme of things, it's not masses.
Yeah. So that they have lost a bit of wind tunnel time, but it's really hard to say because at the start of the season they had a faster car than McLaren. Now McLaren have got a faster car than a lot of other teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think they've stayed where they are, with other teams just improving more.
McLaren especially, like I don't think anybody predicted the turnaround of McLaren.
No. Not in the slightest. But of course the big Aston Martin question is, what do they do with Lance?
Okay, so here's what I think. I think they give him next year in Aston Martin. I don't know, like like when someone's coming up to retirement, you go on your own terms. You go on your own terms. But and
now's a good time.
Yeah, now's a good time. Give him next year, 2025. Put him in the hypercar. Watch him crash that a bit, and then slowly slinks off into streaming.
I mean, there is talk about the moment of Aramco heading a consortium to buy the team out.
Really?
That's the rumour at the minute.
I'm not one to cheer on Saudi Arabian oil all the time, but I'll take it. Speaking as someone who works in a clean tech company, I don't think I'm meant to, but here we are. I think the Lance Stroll.
Is this one of those even Hitler-like Labradors moments?
Okay, I'm not affiliated to that comment. I don't know who this man is. I've never met him. No. I think time is up for the Lance Stroll experiment. It's been 7 long years. We've had some laughs. You've had a few podiums. Now enjoy the hypercars, and we actually let's get. I can't believe I'm saying this. Let's give Drugovich a go.
I am so glad we're recording this, because I am going to play that one back and haunt you for the rest of this podcast's life.
And it's World Championship, me going, I should have said that, Dawn.
Is the perfect place for Albon to go to.
Absolutely, yeah. Spot on.
Yeah, I mean, he could learn a hell of a lot from Alonso.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's been Lance's problem this year. Lance's issue has been Alonso because regardless of where the car is or what the car is doing, Alonso is fucking relentless, and he doesn't have an off day.
No,
and it's so obvious. You know, can you imagine how much that feels? Like how bad that feels when you have a championship. And we'll see, like, if you take Hamilton and Russell, for instance, Hamilton had a better year this year. George Russell had a better year last year. We might get to Mexico this weekend, and George Russell might have the measure of Hamilton, or it might be the other way around because it ebbs and flows. There is no ebbing and flowing in Aston Martin. It's Lance Stroll turns up to work, and Alonso goes just like half a second quicker than him all the time.
Yeah,
that's tough.
But you know, he's the heir to $1 billion prize, so I'm willing to let him have a couple of tough seasons.
Yeah, but do you know what? Right, I think the best thing that he's done all year was push his engineer over. Like everyone else, everyone else.
A wrestling fan in the room here,
but yeah, a little bit.
I thought was it not his physio or his personal trainer rather than his?
Well, then he can probably do like a proper like flat back bump. He'd be all right. But the
he turned it into a move.
Yeah,
start it out.
But the thing is that if he didn't do that, he wouldn't care. And the fact he was so frustrated with himself, he did that. And like the Formula One fucking Twitter internet community, so they shouldn't be doing that. Like Jesus Christ, we've seen Formula One drivers throwing helmets across garages because they're upset with themselves. I was happy that he showed some passion about his sport,
which had all vanished by the time he went into the interview pen.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Look, there's a fine line between passion and charisma. I'm not saying he has both.
In wrestling parlance, though, cutting promos has never been his strong point.
No.
I could see him shoving that. You know how, like, sometimes when you think you're big enough to fight the school bully and you punch him, he goes, "What on earth are you doing?" I could see the physio being pushed by Lance and him going, "You're trying to push me over." I'm your physio.
Yeah.
Bitch. Yeah, I don't know. I'm done.
You say that though, but like, because Lance Stroll's one of those people that it's like, oh, you've done like a bit of like Muay Thai or something like that. Then it turns out, it's like, you do like MMA, yeah, and he's trained by George St. Pierre because he's got the money to do it. So you never underestimate those people.
He's Monica's boyfriend in Friends.
I was just about to make the same analogy.
He's Zuckerberg training for a fight against Elon Musk, which is never going to happen. Yeah,
I would buy that pay-per-view though.
No, I'd find a dodgy stream.
That, yeah.
Right, where are we next? Alpine.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Yes, Alpine. Well, they were binary.
Very much so. I mean, Ocon's car did have quite an impressive hole in the side pod after he got piastried.
Yeah, it did make a mess, didn't it? It looked like a very sort of innocuous coming together at sort of first glance, and then you look at the car and it's like, oh no, that is a big problem.
Yeah, you could see right up to its kidneys.
Oh, we still talk about Danny Rick fan fiction.
Oh, we have to give this an explicit warning because it's just too sexy, this podcast. I'm in dinner first.
I mean, rude. It's just sexy.
It's just.
We've already got the E on Apple Podcasts, so the warning.
That
the
covers
warning
us
is
for
there.
everything, I think.
I feel that might be my fault.
I know for a fact it was your fault. Don't forget, I'm the one with access to the email account. I know it was you.
Yeah, I'll take it. I get it. I get it.
You know, there was another show that I used to do and didn't.
DX would have been nothing without Shawn Michaels. Let's go on.
Yeah, didn't put the E warning on there, and we used to have a poster up in the room that we recorded in saying "Do not say fuck or bugger," and then somebody read it out. Yes, that E appeared on that listing very, very quickly, and we lost both our audience. So yes, Gasly. I don't recall him doing anything challenging or daft. He just was there.
Yeah. He got 6th place out of it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Solid
Yeah.
day of driving.
I mean, 8th before disqualifications, but still, that's decent.
I mean, that is still a points finish for a car and team that has struggled at points this year.
Yeah, if all the cars finish where they should do, they should be 11th and 12th.
Yeah.
As the 6th fastest team and never get any points. Or when you take out the Stroll thing, 10th and 11th.
It's like the old days when they didn't use the number 13.
Yes.
We miss Maldonado.
We do. The lap 1, turn 1 was a good game.
But yeah, it was looking like a solid weekend all round for the team. But obviously, Ocon suffered at turn 1 on the start. Somebody always does.
Yeah.
You get 20 cars going into a very tight corner and trying not to go off track.
So, and it just happened to Ocon. How weird.
I know you've never been his biggest fan, have you?
To me, Ocon's just one of those people that him and Gasly, I feel they are drivers that should be in separate teams.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I agree.
Sorry.
I'd probably put Ocon as a number 2. I'd probably put Gasly as a number 2. I rate Ocon slightly higher than Gasly, but the thing is, Gasly's perfect situation was that AlphaTauri when it was a bit
higher.
quicker.
Yeah, Ocon's peaks are higher, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want 9th, buy Gasly. If you want 3rd and DNF, buy Ocon.
And if you want what the hell's going on, get 2 for the price of 1.
He does seem like a dick, though, doesn't he? Ocon.
Which one?
Ocon.
Apparently he's lovely out of the car. Apparently he's one of the nicest people on the grid.
Alonso thinks he's a bell end, and Max Verstappen nearly fought him in paddock.
Alonso's hardly, Terry Wogan, is he?
Lando likes Alonso. I think that's how we should judge other drivers.
Yeah, okay, I could see that.
I think even Ricardo, who again seems to just like everyone and everything, I'm sure he had a pop at Ocon once.
Yeah,
I can't remember exactly what he said.
Not a crossword with Alonso.
No.
Publicly. Well, Button and Alonso were in the same team when they were qualifying 84th and last Grand Prix, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. They went and got on the podium together. It was beautiful. I could wrote fiction about that.
They had to break onto the podium, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think Ocon's all right. I think he seems quite a nice person. Not on the track. On the track, he's one of the most evil human beings you could come across. But he seems quite, I've still not quite forgiven him for Brazil those years ago. But, I don't know. Gasly I've never rated really since GP2. He tried to kill Daniel de Jong in Belgium once. I think from a liturgical standpoint, I should say he didn't actually try to kill him. It just looked a bit like that. And in his second GP2 year, when he was the clear favourite for the title and everyone thought he was going to wipe the floor with it, Giovinazzi nearly won it.
I think that he got a lot of good credit from his win, didn't he?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's it's really weird because it feels like Formula One all of a sudden went, oh, a new rising star. You go, hang on a bit, have you not been watching the same? I've been watching for years. And it was like, oh, well, that must be like the new Gasly. And lo and behold, it wasn't the new Gasly. It was just an on-form Gasly on that day.
Someone who got lucky during shenanigans.
Yeah. Much like Ocon's, it's
very much so.
we have Alonso defending like a lion moment.
Yeah, the weird grid, wasn't it? The one that Ocon won, the one where like Hamilton was the only person on the grid.
Oh yeah. And had Alonso not defended from Lewis so well, Lewis probably would have won that race.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, the fact we just talked about 2 wins like that, isn't it wild that Hulkenberg never got a podium?
Yet. He's still there.
He's still trying, but isn't it wild? Like we're not even talking about wins here. Never a podium.
No, if we're talking about not getting wins, then obviously that's Nick Heidfeld's world of disappointment.
Oh God.
Yeah, well, yeah.
No single-seater win since '99.
Hulkenberg's better than Heidfeld, though, isn't he?
Statistically,
no. Heidfeld's got podiums, hasn't he?
Most podiums.
Well, statistically, Lewis is better than Alonso, but that's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, Heidfeld's got the most podiums without a win.
Yeah.
Well, he's only 1 above Lando now.
Oh.
Lando is 1 behind Heifeld on the all-time loads of podiums, no wins.
It would have been so good. The difference is time there, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Lando's,
absolutely.
yeah. But
Lando's done it in 4 years.
Yeah, it would have been so good if Lando could have rounded his 100th Grand Prix, start off with a win.
Yeah, I mean, Lando is the only F1 driver we've had on the podcast that hasn't won a race.
I know we're kind of gone slightly off-piste here, but
that's not like us.
Is this the best time for British motorsport? If it's Formula One, and I'm including Albon in that as well because he would be racing under a British flag without funding.
It will be, I think. Mid-90s was okay, but
the days of the Magnificent Seven.
You're gonna have to tell me the 7 here.
Oh, we've done this before. It was Hill, Coulthard, Herbert, Brundle.
If I hear the word Blundell on this, there it is.
Yeah, Blundell.
Yeah. We're downgrading the word magnificent.
Yeah, heavily.
Yeah, and 2 others. But yeah, Eddie Irvine when he felt like it.
Was that a Mansell? Was that back? Was that the Mansell year as well when he was in McLaren?
When he fit.
Yeah.
I think because if you're saying Brundle and Blundell, it has to be because the first Formula One game told me that.
Yeah, I think it was, but I remember that season with seven British drivers.
Yeah, but I mean, like, so we've got 4 British drivers in Formula One right now, and I think any of them could be race winners. I mean, and 2 of them are, and I think in the right situation they could all be world champions.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean there is a hell of a lot of quality. Coming through.
Johnny Herbert, for instance, great. Like he was a great character for the sport. He at no point did you think Johnny Herbert could win a world championship.
No, because he was either in a shit car or he had Schumacher as his teammate.
Yeah, and he had fucking feet that were held on by fucking like etch a sketches.
I'd love to know how that works.
I think as well from like a sort of a British driver perspective, Ollie Behrman, who's in F2 at the moment, I think will probably be like the next one to make that step up. I think he looks very promising.
Yeah, I think he needs to get out of the Ferrari Academy though, because
that is a challenge.
Yeah, I think it's good for the future of British motorsport as well because the like you saw Schumacher, the amount of Germans that Schumacher dragged through into Formula One. So if you've got 4 British drivers as good as what we have now, they are going to drag more people and inspire more people into Formula One.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should watch more national level races and see what's coming through.
Yeah.
Right, next team up, I guess, would technically be Mercedes with George Russell in 5th. And a Lewis Hamilton disqualification from second on the track. I mean, we've talked about the plank. One thing though, the Mercedes is starting to get the speed back. It's not as fast in a straight line, but they seem to have dealt with the grip, so it's better in the corners. And Hamilton was making up time on Verstappen for quite a few laps until Verstappen put his foot down again.
Hamilton could have won that race, and it would have been well earned.
Yeah, I think they made a mistake by not pitting him about 2 or 3 laps earlier.
Absolutely. They put him right in the middle of the 2 things that they could have tried. Leave him out 5 laps later so he has some super fresh tyres towards the end, or pit him exactly when Max and Lando pit. They did the middle thing. They did the one thing you can't do.
Uncharacteristic, isn't it?
Yeah, that was it was a complete Ferrari strategy move.
I think Ferrari will see you and raise you their strategy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if Ferrari had have done what Mercedes had done, I wouldn't have been surprised. Yeah, as it turned out, they made it worse. But
yeah, nice one, Carlos. Good move. Yeah, nice. You're into P4. That's great. Cheers. Don't we have 2 drivers? Shit, we do, don't we?
How do you think how do you feel about the Inters, Carlos? What?
Leave me alone. Stop inventing.
But you don't often see Mercedes make mistakes like that.
No, and it was very much it felt like they just didn't have their finger on the button, and they just went, we'll see what happens next lap and see how quick they are. Oh, they're quick. Okay, we'll give it another lap. Oh, they're still quick. Oh, we're really now going to slow down. Oh, God. Okay, pit? I don't know. They just couldn't think their way around it. And that is rare for Mercedes.
Bold statement. Are they a team that is in... We've said this about teams in the past, but it's usually something that happens a long time afterwards. But are they a team in the process of forgetting how to win?
They're a team that's missing James Vowles.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because
he's proven his worth right now as well.
Oh, hell yeah. He would have been on it with the strategy. And had they gone from James Vowles deciding what the strategy is to discussing it in committee and then eventually telling a driver, which obviously we know is the Ferrari problem. And now that Mercedes starting to go down that road, and there's nobody to stand up and say, no, this is what should happen, and this is what we need to do, and this is what we need to do now.
It's almost like they've employed Mike Constant.
They'll pick it up on the numbers round, don't worry.
Russell was fine. It wasn't his most special 5th place, I wouldn't say. Well, net 7th.
I think Mercedes
he
needs to do something about their lineup,
He had the fastest lap at one point.
Yeah.
Which I think is when all the AlphaTauri shenanigans started to kick in.
I think they need to work something out, because something I've noticed over the course of this year is when there's a good upgrade on an upgrade on the car, it only works for one of the drivers. And it's we saw after the summer break they brought an update, and it only worked for George. Now there's an update. Lewis Hamilton said, "This is the best update we've had. This is the first time I've felt the car all year." And Russell is nowhere. I wonder if their driving styles are so contrasting, it's almost impossible to keep both drivers happy. I think both drivers are as good as each other. I know that's probably going to upset some people. And I think the Mercedes need to work out what they want to do. They need to work out whether they want a Bottas for Hamilton or whether they want to breed the next Hamilton.
I think Alpine have a similar issue, actually. I think that they have, again, two drivers who are very contrasting in their styles, and in trying to sort of find something that will work for both of them, it's ended up nowhere.
I think it probably shows that it shows how unadjustable the drivers are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it must be, it's going to be tough for the team to compromise like that, because you usually end up bringing an upgrade, something that doesn't not suit both drivers. You're still not getting the best out of the car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, obviously, but this is why I think Max is so fast, is because of how adaptable he is. And we've said this so often. I don't believe Red Bull build a car for Max Verstappen. Adrian Newey and his key members of staff build the fastest Formula One car they can possibly do, and go, yeah, it might be difficult to drive. Fucking deal with it because it's rapid.
Well, that's how I thought Lewis used to be able to drive when the car was the number one car. But when the car's the number 3, 4, 5 car, he just struggles because I think he gets in his own head. He gets into his own head and goes, okay, this is a problem, and it's down to me to fix it yet again.
I think he's lost his adaptableness. Like Lewis used to be one of those drivers that would take a car and wrestle it and make it go somewhere. And I don't think he's that driver anymore.
No.
Now, that doesn't necessarily mean to have to be a negative either. Maybe those drivers don't win all those world championships.
We know as well, don't we, that George and Lewis are physically quite different, because when Lewis had COVID and George drove his car, he had to wear shoes that were a size smaller to be able to fit his feet in the car. So in theory, the innards of those cars are going to be quite different shapes, which is probably quite a challenge from an engineering.
6'2", George, tall guy.
Yeah,
it does freak me out that if I ever in my life, don't see it happening, if I ever come across Fernando Alonso or Lewis and meet them face to face, to think, wow, you're diddly. You're a tiny person.
Especially Fernando. Fernando's really short.
Oh, Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah. How's the weather down there, lad?
I mean, what's her name that won race 2 in the...
Hamda Al-Khabaisi.
She was teeny, wasn't she?
Stood next to Naomi Schiff, who's quite tall.
I went out into the kitchen and said to Jane, the person who's just won the F1 Academy race is tiny.
I mean, they stood her next to Jamie Chadwick, and she's only 5'3", not 5'2", as I thought. Yeah, she's 5'3", and Jamie Chadwick was a good head higher than her.
I've now got that terrible feeling that if I ever meet Fernando Alonso, which is clearly one of my sporting heroes, that I might be drunk enough to turn around and say, while you're down there, Fernando.
I mean, don't forget, this is the man who sat in on a Lewis Hamilton press conference and had to run away and throw up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was down, that was the curry the night before. He hadn't gone full dickhead at that point.
Yeah, I will back you up on that, because I felt bloody rough all day as well.
I didn't think I was going to get there. And if you remember how sick I was when we came back to it as well, when we were in the hotel room. I wasn't even sure whether I was going to get back.
And when you did,
that was awful.
When you did, I could actually tell that you were ill, because we're in the hotel room, the snooker was on, and you slept through an entire Ronnie O'Sullivan match and didn't give a shit about it.
Yes. Unheard of.
Yeah, you actually kicked through an entire Ronnie O'Sullivan century break and didn't give a toss.
Yeah. No, crazy. I was grey. I looked grey. It was a nice curry, though. It tasted good. I would do it again. But
Hopefully not having to meet Lewis and all next day.
That was an idea.
I would have the same recipe again, just cooked in a different kitchen.
Yeah.
Of
Do you know what?
Sorry, go on.
Just because it was an interesting thing, because I might never meet like one of the people that's like arguably the best at what they do in the world ever. That's again, I'll never forget the feeling of Lewis Hamilton walking in the room. Like that, it was weird.
Yeah, the entire atmosphere just changed when he came in.
Yeah, it was like that's not. Well, I don't know what he is, but he's not the same as me. Like that we're made of the same stuff, but we're not the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
someone's gonna clip that and make me sound terrible.
Challenge accepted.
I'll send you the time codes. Tell you what. Shall we move on to Ferrari? Talking of terrible, sounding terrible.
Can I quickly? I know I mouthed off on this slightly on our chat earlier, and I don't want to send hate mail or get hate mail sent to Three Legs Towers.
It's all I try and do.
The people who are on Twitter and straight or X or Elon Chat, Musknet, whatever we're calling it nowadays.
To be fair, Facebook's pretty awful as well. Let's just say social media.
The Smedes, the people on the Smedes, if they could stop turning round and going, "Oh, Maxwell have got a penalty if this has happened." Shut up! It is a rule. It is a regulation. It is unchangeable. It would happen if it happened to Joe, Russell, Albon, whomever. It happened to Lewis. It happened to Leclerc. It would have been the same for Max. Go back to your basement at your mum's house and find something else to do, because I'm bored. But I will search for it every 10 minutes.
To hope it involves turning a like you know those old like 80s halogen like gas bottled heaters on, but not pressing the clicky thing to make the spark.
Again, I'd like to distance myself from that.
I've got to admit, I wasn't expecting, go back to your mum's basement. I was possibly expecting something like go back to your DIY show.
Yeah.
If you're listening, Knowles, you and me outside. Bring your 2x4.
I feel Kieran was underselling what the punishment.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
But do you know what, right? I genuinely don't, because I speak to people that listen to this podcast like daily on social media, and these some of these people I've spoken to now for years.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I saw your dad this afternoon.
Yeah. Do you think my dad has a technical know to listen to a podcast? Come on.
I thought you put it on tape for him every week and dropped it round.
Yeah, but the 8-track's broken.
Can you apologise from my behalf to all the listeners, if that's all right?
No.
No.
Right. I used to. One of the things I love doing about this show. I mean, first of all, it's nice to speak about, like, to friends about Formula One, and the idea that other people want to listen to that. It's great. But I used to love the people that you would randomly speak to and just interact with online about Formula One. That has been fucked over the past 5 years. Like the level of knowledge of the loud Formula One fans. I'm doing the little rabbit ears things with my hands. Mm-hmm. It's remarkable. I do think it's Drive to Survive that's done it, and I think it's such a bad thing for a sport. Turning a world championship into a reality TV show has been a disaster on the fan side of it.
Yeah, a little bit. It's turned everything into a war, hasn't it? If you have the tiniest bit of sympathy for Max, you hate Lewis. If you have the tiniest bit of respect for Lewis's driving, you hate Max. And I'm just so bored of it. I will look it up day and night. I'll sit there. My favourite thing post-race now is to just type in the word Team LH into Instagram and go through the various. Let's see what Team LH Solomon Islands thinks of the race. Oh, they thought it was George Russell's fault. Well, who saw that coming? Or the bloke on
none
Twitter,
of these people watch races either. None of these people watch a race.
I mean,
I said to someone earlier when they were saying Max wouldn't have been penalised for the same thing, I said, I don't know if you caught the race, but don't worry, I imagine Drive to Survive will cover it next year.
Yeah. Well, I said this morning to somebody.
And was the response to that, right, I'm going back to making DIY shows?
Couldn't lift it, couldn't even shift it. Sorry. Anyway,
But the problem is these people have their freshest Formula One knowledge is the last Drive to Survive episode they watched.
yeah.
That's
Well,
a shame.
if you want engaging and entertaining and intelligent and, for the most part, generally non-biased but good-humoured F1 chat, you should join in on our Discord server, because that is a bunch of really good people.
If you don't and you're on the other side of it, I suggest Missed Apex for you. You fit right in.
You really aren't keen on spanners this week, are you?
I just think it's really weird how he is playing to the internet Team LH troll sort of thing. Like he is playing up to the lowest common denominator in Formula One, like internet fucking fandom, and I find it really strange.
That was it's one of the all-time tweets. Why not let Lewis off, but promise any drivers violating his future will be severely punished? Don't hurt my guy. Hurt the. We've learned our lesson. It's fine. We just let's call it. It never happened. Just pretend it didn't happen. Okay,
This is not the first
now.
time someone has had a plank violation. I'm sure this is not a new thing.
It's but what he's aiming that at as well, loosely I would guess, is well, Red Bull got away with the cost cap.
Yeah.
Which was the first time it had happened.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's look. I can't justify nonsense. I don't understand the thing is, like, the guy's doing it for listens, and he's doing it for internet interactions. If it's working for him, great. That's what he's doing.
I think the youth call it clout.
Yeah, and that, but like, as long as he realizes it's fucking painfully obvious to people that maybe don't care as much about the internet clout from it, that's fine. That wine's working.
Moving on, how did Ferrari fuck up this week?
Well, their plank for a start.
Yeah, I think the biggest plank problem is the plank that works out the strategy.
Oh, I thought we'd moved on from Apex. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, Fred Vasseur said we got it wrong. We shouldn't have one-stopped Charles. Yeah, you think?
Yeah. Well, they were on to Plan D at one point, weren't they? When they talking about Plan D, and how far does it go?
I mean, they were still talking. What was it, Plan B or Plan C with Carlos when he came in for his last stop with 10 laps to go?
That was hilarious. No, that was it was Leclerc, wasn't it?
Oh, was it Leclerc?
Yeah, they went like Plan C and D.
Yeah, and he was not happy.
Move to D? And he said, "Yeah, no, my race is already ruined. Let's leave things as it is." Yeah.
If you have 7 laps left on your tyres, what are the different plans differentiating from I'm just stuck on these tyres now?
Yeah. The only plan that's working for you is a blue turtle shell at that point.
And Lando's overtaken Leclerc in the championship now. Leclerc's 7th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not a good
and,
look.
and Carlos has really shown him the way since midsummer break.
Yeah.
He's been showing him the way all season, though, hasn't he? Because
more so, though, like it looks like Carlos's Ferrari team now.
Funny enough, Amazon has recommended me, from the same author as whatever it was called, Sex with Danny Rick. They've also got a book called Charles Leclerc and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Monaco Grand Prix, a book of sadness and disappointment for children.
For children? Based on their Danny Rick novel, this person should not be writing for children, surely.
One for Daddy, one for me.
That's the Nick Heinfeld line, isn't it? A book of sadness and disappointment for children.
Oh, guys, my dad used to race in Formula One. Oh, did he? What's his name? Not important.
Did you not hear the part? It said he used to drive a Formula 1.
What does your dad do? He doesn't have a job, actually. Works at Morrison's.
Driver. Taxi driver.
Yeah, he works for a big oil company.
He's a Tory MP. That's it, honest. I don't want to talk about it.
But yeah, Ferrari just they never fail to disappoint, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, taking nothing away from Carlos, fourth on the road, third on the classification.
Yeah, Carlos drove fine, not spectacularly. Again, it is DSQ assisted.
I mean, we've said this since he first came into F1 with Toro Rosso. He just gets on with it and then gets a good result at the end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
it might not always be Podium.
Slightly slower Jenson Button. Because Button had that sort of steadiness about it, but there was also times where Button could be absolutely rapid as well. Carlos doesn't seem to have those races where he's rapid, but he's
is that the car
consistently?
Is that the car or the team that's letting him down? Because I mean, don't forget his first win came after he basically told the pit wall where to shove their strategy, and he was going to drive his own race. Oh, and look, he won.
Yeah, it could be Ferrari. You're right. I mean, he led the way for Lando, didn't he, when they were both in the McLaren?
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see them in the same team now to see how it would go.
Which team, though? Are you shipping Lando to Ferrari or putting Sainz?
Good God, no! I'd love me some Lando.
He's shipping Lando for himself. You can hear him writing it now.
Wake up, son! You have a big brother now.
The tape's there for his benefit.
Carlos is very Button-like. I think that's a really good way of putting it.
Yeah, better hair.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to offend Lee here, but I'd say he's a slightly better looking man. But that's not doing down Jensen.
I mean,
in a field of nines, there's a 9.1.
If you're trying to field a Coldplay tribute act, then Button's the man you need.
Yeah, Kieran, can I just say you don't have to sort of restrict what you say anymore. You're past your probation now. You're a full member of the team, so you can insult Lee.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Right, Team LH. Let's have it. No. It's very, very Ferrari-ish weekend. We lucked into a podium because of our own error.
Yeah.
Well, Lewis's error, but or Mercedes.
So that's McLaren next up. Second for Lando, gutted that he didn't win it.
Yeah, same.
It'll come.
That's the first race for ages I felt sick watching.
Yeah, I agree.
I felt ill because you could see it. You could see that car wasn't quick enough at a point where Lando was leading the race. You go, he's in for third here. He's going to be third. And it was just... I'm glad, I'm sad Lando Norris is picking thirds up in a McLaren.
Yeah.
That's the way to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, coming from where they were at the start of the season, eighth was going to be a good result.
Mm-hmm.
What I didn't get was how did he manage to completely ruin that first set of hard tyres after his first stop? Because he only did 16 laps on them, which was as long as he'd been out on the mediums. And he just killed the tyres by then. I thought the hard tyres were good for anywhere up to about 32, 33
laps. Was he running too close to Max?
Yeah, he was pushing with Max. He was trying to stay in the DRS.
And I think a lot of that was could have been gamesmanship from Max as well, because Max could have gone faster, but if he was keeping Lando behind him, then that would have caused Lando car problems.
The softer the tyre, the better for McLaren this weekend. They were good on the softs. They were all right on the mediums. They were poor on the hards. Or he, I should say, because we didn't really see much of Oscar on the hards. Didn't at all, actually.
No,
Yeah,
I don't, no, but he
shame.
wouldn't have used him in the sprint, and
No.
he started on mediums, and of course he was done after 10 laps from sort of resultant damage of the lap 1 problem.
Yeah. Did anyone else?
Sorry, go on, Kieran.
I was going to say, did anyone else was anyone else a bit surprised when Lando came in for a second stop that they didn't go for maybe a scrub set of mediums?
Was
don't
it
know how
just
scrubbed
slightly
these
too
scrubs are.
early?
Yeah, I think it was about 4 or 5 laps too soon.
Yeah.
Just trying
Yeah, I suppose it depends what they had left as well.
Yeah, how scrubbed is the scrub?
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. Because there's one point Ted said it looks like a used medium is better than a new hard. But
Yeah,
define a used medium. You're not sticking on
Yeah.
the first set you put on, are you?
I'd have thought a softer tire towards the end would have been the move for.
Yeah.
For Lando.
He didn't actually. I don't think he actually had any left.
That would explain it.
That would be a problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only set of mediums that he had, used set of mediums that he had, were the ones he did the sprint in. So they'd already done 20 laps, or 19, or however it was.
Yeah. Shame, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm like just explaining Formula One in Jensen buttons here, but the Lando makes me think of BAR Jensen Button now. You know, where when the BAR could like stick a pole position here now and again, or he was like second in the championship to Schumacher, and you just knew, oh, just give that guy the car. And he can race anybody, he can race anyone on the grid. And Lando is he is that guy now. You know, you have your top drivers and Lando Norris that just needs a car.
So McLaren to go for the triple diffuser next year.
What do you do if you're Lando? Like really? Like if you've got Red Bull sniffing around you, you have Audi now have had links with Lando for 26.
You don't go to Red Bull. Because
think
Red
so?
Bull will park him. They will not let him attack Max.
I think it depends. Let's remember how well he knows Max, and if Lando goes to Red Bull, Max has told Lando, "I'm leaving in 26." Because Morris Hamilton is absolutely like he would put his whatever property he owns on the fact that Max Verstappen is going to leave Formula One in 2026.
Yeah, I'm not unconvinced that Max will win the next 2 seasons and go, I'm off to spend time with
Nelson Piquet's daughter.
Yeah, insert Piquet here. What is it? Kelly Piquet.
Yes.
That's it. I could see that happening. I totally could. He wants to race with his dad. I could see Max going.
Him and his dad will do Le Mans.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
He's won 3 world championships since Lewis won his last race. He doesn't need to tit about in Formula One to win 6, 7, 8, 9. He could win his 5, still be in his mid to late 20s and go, I quite fancy fishing.
Do you know what? I don't think the numbers matter in Formula One.
No, I don't think so. I think they matter to some people, but not Max.
Yeah, I think they matter to people that don't know anything about Formula One. It's the same people we were talking before about the Team LH thing.
That's why Ferrari are so numbers obsessed.
But if you take let's go back in time to like Alonso racing Schumacher for Alonso's world championship, yeah? What means more, that one world championship or like 3 of Hamilton's where he didn't race anybody?
Oh yeah, well,
you know, that's it's not, and the same would go for the championship between Max and Lewis, one of the hardest fought championships Formula One's ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at what winning one championship against Lewis did to Rosberg, because he just said, I don't have the mental strength to do this anymore.
Yeah, and he like Rosberg that year beat the driver that many think is one of the best, if not the best, to ever race in Formula One.
Mm-hmm.
So but that championship, that one there is worth more than the championships Lewis won racing nobody with Bottas as a teammate.
Sure, yeah.
You can add a few Schumachers into there as well.
Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely.
Yeah, like 2002 Schumacher year.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing of note that year apart from when Rubens let Schumacher through Austria.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that because he won 15 and no one had a chance means that it's not worth having. I guess you're not suggesting that either, Lee. It's just that you're going to remember the ones.
Every single championship won by Sebastian Vettel.
I don't know. 2010 was a good year.
That was against Alonso.
Well, it was against 4 or 5 people.
It was Alonso, Webber, and someone else could all win it on the last day.
Yeah.
Yeah, all came down at the last race.
That one you can have.
Yeah.
That just leaves us with really Red Bull to talk about. I mean, it's the fastest car on the grid. In the right hands.
At no point in that weekend was Sergio Perez the 4th best driver.
No, he wasn't the 4th best driver until about 1:45 this morning.
Yeah, good point, yeah. I was asleep in my comfy bed. Yeah, Max, nothing left to say. Sergio, his best weekend for a while, but that's only because previous weekends he would hit a bollard if he could.
Yeah, I mean the way that Max managed to control the race even when he wasn't leading it.
Yeah,
he had that mapped out perfectly, exactly what he needed to do, and when he needed to do it, and that is L plan.
Yeah, and he fought for it as well. It wasn't an easy win by any stretch of imagination.
Oh no, but he was in complete control, and if it was basically a case for him, I think, of if I do this right, I've got this. Doesn't matter if I'm starting in 6th.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He got a good start, gained a place off the line, and then just spent practically the first two stints just picking off drivers one by one, not pushing too hard, not pushing the car beyond. He ground his way to victory. Yeah.
He used the common thing of people being scared of Max Verstappen's strategy, and that got to people.
Yeah, do you know what? That was a Prost-like win.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did exactly what he needed to do at the right time, and that was one thing that Prost always did when he was absolutely on one.
I'd love to know the difference between the two cars at any one time, like at any race. I'm sure that the Max Verstappen obviously gets all the posh bits before Perez, but you still talk about one of the most well-resourced teams on the grid. So it's not like it's going to take a long time for it's not like Williams, which will give like an upgraded car to Albon, and then maybe 3 or 4 races down the line, Sargent gets that car.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, they've got to make more parts for Sargent because he'll just break the first 3.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but if those cars are close in any way, parity-wise, it's a testament to what Max Verstappen's doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's been
because you stick 2 Perez's in that car, they're fighting for the championship. They're fighting for the championship with Alonso at the beginning of the season. They're fighting with Lewis and Lando now, without Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I fear for that with Sergio, because I don't think Sergio's just completely lost his Red Bull driving ability. I think his arse has gone a tiny bit, but it's mainly the brilliance of Max is really hard shadow to get out from underneath.
I wonder if we're going to be here in another 2 years' time doing a podcast talking about Max Verstappen has now announced his retirement towards the end of the year. Are we going
in the calendar? See what I'm doing that week.
I mean, given the amount of shows that we've done lately, it could be our next pod.
Could be. That's fair. I think Max Verstappen retiring might even be worth an emergency pod. But I just wonder whether we're going to have the conversation about when he, within the next 3 years, like, is Max the best of all time?
If he walks away at the top, then definitely.
Yeah.
I reckon. I mean, of course, the big rumour is that Perez is going to announce his retirement this weekend.
Yes.
So that's just... It's not going to happen, is it?
I mean, I don't see why not.
I don't think there's anything for him to gain.
But where does he go? What does he do? If he's not happy in Red Bull, he can't be right now.
It's either Williams or family, isn't it?
Exactly.
Or the Aston Martin Valkyrie. I mean,
So I was enjoying Daddy or Chips there. That's brilliant. Explain that to American listeners. Daddy or Papa or fries.
If you're one of the 43% of the viewers of this podcast, then I hope you enjoyed that joke.
43? No, about 30% of the UK now. US is up to...
Oh, are we?
Yeah,
Wow.
US is up to about 55. Yeah, but yes, I reckon Perez might have a shot at WEC with Aston Martin. I mean, he's got a good relationship with the Silverstone team.
Yeah, but the Silverstone team has sort of changed management-wise, hasn't it?
I think he'll step away from racing. I think he'll be one of those because there's not a lot different between Lance Stroll and Sergio Perez, apart from the fact Sergio Perez is a better driver. And at that point, you've got to think, well,
Perez gets his money from someone he's not related to.
I think Daddy Perez is more than comfortable.
What a sentence.
Well, I'm just saying that there's levels even within Formula One, and there are certain people that are they can just do anything. They can, like Lance Stroll, for instance, can do anything he wants to do. Look at the fact that he's a Formula fucking One driver right now. So that means that if he leaves Formula One, an astronaut is not out of the question. Would you like to be an astronaut, Lance? We will make it happen. We'll make it happen tomorrow.
Daddy's bought NASA.
Yeah. Would you a fighter pilot? We could do that as well. So we look at these things in like common man thoughts of in like I'd love to play drums in a in a professional band, and that would be me. And I would not want to do that, because if I could manage to get myself into that position and I left it, I couldn't go and do anything else. I would be back to just being a painter and decorator again.
I've got Johnny Burrell's number if you want it.
Yeah, okay.
And of course, if you're not a patron, you won't know how well these career changes go.
No. But the thing is that it's not the same for these like super rich people. They can do what they. It's like, I leave Formula One. What happens after you leave Formula One? Oh well, the entire world is at my feet.
Mm-hmm. And if you've got investment money, you're laughing.
Yeah. So it doesn't make sense to, and this, it seems like a weird turn of phrase. It doesn't make sense to waste your life in Formula One.
Yeah. Talking of investment money, if anyone does have money to invest in an up and coming racing team,
podcast.
Well, I was just going to say racing team as well as podcast, because we'll be doing the official podcast for him once they get going. One of our friends in the US, Mr. Stephen Terra, is putting together a racing team, FC Motorsports, in starting in karting. And he's looking for backers and funding and sponsors. So anyone that wants to get in touch with anything you can do for the team, be it financial, mechanical, you name it, just get in touch with Stephen at info@fcmotorsports.com. And there will be an fcmotorsports.com website when I actually get more than an hour to finish building the damn thing, because I've been on holiday and I've been that busy since I got back. I've not had a chance. Just thought I'd get that plug in. Right, happy now?
All the best.
Cool.
But if you do want to donate money to a podcast, we obviously have our Patreon. You can subscribe from one currency unit a week. Major currency unit, not
none of that yen.
We prefer that to be a single Bitcoin a month.
Just go to patreon.com/3LX4Wheels. You can sign up there. There's an extra show this week. On the weeks that we don't do the extra Patreon shows, you get the 3LX4Wheels show early, and on the weeks where we've got advertising, you get the ad-free version of the show.
And on the week there's no podcast at all, you're in the same boat as everybody else.
Enjoy your silence.
You get access to an exclusive chat channel on Discord where I make excuses as to why there hasn't been a podcast. But sign up for the Discord. Sign up for the Discord as well.
I like the Discord. It's good.
Everybody should join. Just search for 3LX4Wheels on Discord. We are.
I really should join as well, shouldn't I?
Even Dan's joined.
Right, I will re-download the app. I don't use Discord for anything. I've got too many messaging apps. I've got Signal. For one person.
I'm on two other Discords. One is Sean Keaveney's Community Garden Radio, which is brilliant, by the way, you should listen. And the other one is James Bourne from Busted Solo Career Discord. And that one's very quiet. You'll describe it. Not a ebbing, flowing conversation on the old third best member of Busted Solo Career. So.
I listened to the drum podcast, which has got the drummer from Busted on it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Corby?
Oh, hang on.
Potterman.
Wait a second.
Corey.
This show can't go on. Oh no, it's playing. It's the Mike and Eddie podcast, so it's Eddie something.
Oh, their new one. They took one out on tour.
Yeah.
This is an off-air conversation.
I really think it is. If you want off-air conversations with us, you can get in touch on email 3legs4wheels@gmail.com or at 3legs4wheels on all the major socials. There's too many to bloody list these days. And individually on Twitter, X, the Mickey Musk Club or whatever.
Bebo.
Yeah. Individually on Twitter, we all are.
At Sean Cowper.
At Kieran is boring.
At the Lee Stevens.
And I'm at Pablo100, and you can get Flood at Flood21. He says he's recording some bits. He's doing reviews of classic seasons. So I'm hoping he'll get those over to us very soon. And I just want to say a big thank you to Chris for actually coming round and feeding the cats while we were on holiday. So basically, our cats have seen and heard more from Chris in the last 2 weeks than we have in the last 3 months. Right. If the wind's in the right direction, we will be back next week with a post-Mexico Grand Prix show. And will there be a Checo retirement or not?
Are we going to do some guesses? We used to do them.
We used to, but it's kind of running a bit late, and Sean's looking at me as if to say,
I'm dying.
I should have been asleep half an hour ago.
My alarm
goes
goes off in 6 hours.
So just want to say one more thing. We're not playing the usual closing music tonight. We are playing the new single by a good mate of ours. It's a song called Fragile by Stephen Nash, who is fantastic singer, songwriter, bass player, and
fantastic bloke.
Bit of an all-round nice guy, really.
Yeah.
And mad as a bag of squirrels.
Jeez, without doubt, like there is the like trying to wash a bag of knives.
So enjoy that, and you can download that or stream that from all the major platforms that it's up on. Right.
All the proceeds from it going to hospice, by the way.
Oh yes, Hospice Island Man.
I'd feel bad if I say, can you just email that track to me now for a radio show? I might buy it. I might buy that one.
I'll send you the link.
They couldn't have got any words. Yeah, I hope he kills it. Yeah. What else do you want to say?
We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Could see me in the distance, if you could see me shining bright, if you could see the shadows fading, would you turn around and make things right? Maybe I'm just scared of crying, trying hard as we read between the lines. Maybe I'm just scared there's no more fighting, a prison cell inside my fragile mind. Afraid there's no tomorrow? Are you afraid to lose your vital signs? Do you believe in fortune telling? Do you believe that the sun will always shine? Maybe I'm just scared of crying, trying hard as we read between the lines. Maybe I'm just scared there's no more fighting, a prison cell inside my fragile mind. Maybe I'm just scared of crying, trying hard as we read between the lines. Maybe I'm just scared there's no more fighting, a prison cell inside my fragile mind.